In this episode of Super Seicento, all of that is going into this, hopefully. Hello you lot, Miller Corner here, welcome back to Super Seicento, and a quick recap for those of you that have missed a few videos or you've been away for a while or you just haven't been keeping up to date. Shame on you if you haven't. Basically, about a month ago I took my epic little Fiat Seicento sporting project car all the way on an epic road trip to Poland and back for Jubilee Shower Italiano chill weekend, the kind of 2-3 day long Fiat focused, Italian car focused festival run by the Polish car club Italiano Squadra, and it was a fantastic event and I loved it. It's pretty much the best thing I've ever done to do with cars, just full stop. Unfortunately, the return journey didn't go so well because on the final day, on the way back to the Eurotunnel, I was in Germany, I was at a turn off waiting to go get some petrol, and a lorry took the front of my car out. And as you may know, if you've seen the update video, once we got it back to the UK, we pulled it apart, we found the car was bent beyond repair. The frame just wasn't economically or viably or safely salvageable. Thankfully though, there was a light at the end of the tunnel because I went and got another one. I went and bought a 2003 Fiat Seicento Sporting in yellow, so exactly the same as mine was when I first got it, and the plan now is to basically do a reshell, to move as much as possible over from the old shell to the new shell. And today that work begins because I am on the way to the workshop where the new shell and all the parts from the old one are being stored, and this is the start of the Super Seicento rebuild. That's right, it's coming back, and it's coming back bigger and better than ever before. So I'm not going to waste any more time with this intro. Basically, the reason I'm doing the intro in the car is I don't want to waste any time once I get to the workshop. I just want to set up the cameras and get cracking. So without further ado, to the workshop. Let's do this. I start by pulling out the front seats. There's nothing much wrong with the ones that are in there, but I've got far better replacements, and they have to come out to replace the tatty and ripped carpet. 5p. Score. Next up, the two plastic panels covering the sills can be unscrewed and pulled out. These two will be swapped for my originals after a clean and a tidy up. Here's a tip. When you take any bolts or screws out of your car, put them all in a pot. And the more you know that there are left over in here at the end of the job, the lighter your car is, so the faster it goes. With the decent condition and surprisingly light driver's seat pulled out also, it's onto the centre console. It's held in by a screw underneath the gear stick gaiter, a screw underneath this plastic cover, and two underneath the ashtray. After carefully unplugging the cigarette lighter, the centre console can then be lifted out. That might be us free actually. And there we have it. Centre console removed and looking fabulous, and I'm dropping screws everywhere. Next, the lower seatbelt bolts are removed to free the carpet before the rear seat bases are flipped up and removed, a process requiring just 3 bolts to be undone before the bases come out, linked together by a pin. There's something deeply satisfying about doing interior stuff on cars because this is a quite old car, so it's fairly simple, not too much electrical stuff, but not so old that it's all rusty and seized and knackered. This is fun, this is good. Note to Joe when I'm editing this, and also note to you if you want to take your seatbelts out, if you change socket size because the bolts holding the rear seats in are a different size to the one holding the seatbelts in, the one holding the seatbelts in is an 18mm. Just, you know, bit of useful information for you there. Don't forget it and try not to lose your socket like you just did, you fool. Having found both my sockets, I then remove the plastic clips holding the rear of the carpet on. There's nature. I just found some nature in my car. It's nice to have a natural touch, but on the other hand, that's adding weight. So weight reduction, this car's already going to go faster without this weighing it down. Aha! Found 20p. This car's rapidly paying for itself. With all the seats, bolts, trim, clips, leaves and money now removed, the tatty old carpet can be lifted straight out and into the bin. That's probably not good. That's totally haggard. You'll never get a cleaner interior than when there's nothing in it. So next I vacuum the inside of the car and remove years of dirt, grime and various unmentionable deposits from humans and animals. Then I clean my original carpet. It's in much better condition than the one that was in the car, and now it's clean and presentable enough that it can go in. Being made for the exact same make and model, the carpet simply drops into place after slotting over the gear lever and the handbrake, and the plastic clips and seatbelt bolts can be done back up to secure it there for the rest of its life. Carpet is in, and it's a lot cleaner and a lot nicer and a lot generally classier than the one that was in here. We could leave it like this and just go full race car, but I like to be able to see and, you know, be safe when I'm driving. So next up, seats. Absolutely. My original rear seat bases have been cleaned up too, and it's simply a case of bolting them in individually and then connect them with a pin. The rear seats are back in, and whilst we're in the back... So this rear door card doesn't have anything on it. This one has a little pop-out ashtray thing on it, as you can see there. Now, I don't smoke, I don't endorse smoking, and I don't have any friends that smoke, I don't think. But it's always nice to have a little bit of extra storage, and the more of the original car I can put in this car, the better. So that door card's coming off. This one's going on. Let's do it. First, I have to reach behind the card to pry out a number of sharp, highly sprung plastic clips, which, despite threatening to chop my fingers off, eventually all come out. There we go, standard one. Not in bad condition, a few little scratches and chips on it, but crucially, no ashtray. And also, very crucially, not from the original car. So, thank you for your service, but bye-bye. After removing some broken clips, the original rear door card simply snaps into place after a few love taps, and it's in. While I'm at it, I change the rear door card on the other side too, and then it's onto the boot, where the good condition but basic original parcel shelf is removed in favour of my original one, sporting a decent set of speakers in it. Thankfully, the wiring loom is in the car regardless of whether there are speakers, so it simply slots into place and the speakers plug straight in. Then it's back into the cabin, where I screw my original centre console in, attach the driver's side sill plates, and then it's onto the seats. My custom adapted Subaru WRX seats are in really good condition, but did get a bit dirty from being in storage. A vacuum over sorts that out quickly, and then the driver's seat can be carried over to the car and bolted down. I can already see it. It's already coming together. Imagine how good it's going to be. It's going to be so much fun. With everything in place, the interior starts to feel like home again, and I can't resist taking a seat. Let's settle in. Oh yes. Yes. Oh, it's feeling good. I'm home. I'm back in my thing. Subaru seats. Well, Subaru seat. One of them, singular. Back in. We've got bits to do over there, but captain's chair is in. So the plan is, this is the rear driver's side window from the old car that you can see has got the Italiano Squadra shield, the Cento UK sticker, and the number I had from the sort of beauty pageant. Now, rather than try and get all these stickers off and probably damage them in the process, the plan is we're going to try and take the old rear driver's side passenger window out of the car and pop this one in, which hopefully should just be a few screws, but famous last words have been said by more clever people than me, so let's see how this one goes. I start by removing the ugly, obtrusive and generally in the way rear headrest before undoing the bolts that hold the clasp on. Next I loosen the hinge bolts and my dad holds the window while I release the hinges entirely, and the window then lifts away. After the frame's been cleaned up, the original window is slotted into place, and with the hinges and the clasp bolted back in and the window tested, it's in. But my decision to remove the rear headrest causes some disagreement in the workshop. I hate them. They look ridiculous.
Hey? Really? I bet they look good.
They look ridiculous and they block your back window. Yeah. No, they're going.
No, you want to put them back in there.
No.
They look good. The other one,
no. No. Never came with them.
Can't believe it's trying. No tasting challenge,
No, I'm putting my foot down. This is me putting my foot down. To celebrate me asserting my dominance, we then apply my Italiano Squadra sticker to the rear window as well. It's travelled over 1,000 miles to be here, but finally it's on my car. With that done, day one is nearly finished. My dad rewires in the remote central locking system while I remove, clean and refit the door pockets. Finally, it's onto the armrests. The ones that came on the car are a bit scratched and obviously they're not my originals, so they're removed by undoing 2 Allen-headed bolts underneath and one underneath a rubber bung behind the door handle. Remove the bung, undo the 3rd and final bolt, and the whole armrest simply unclips and slides over the door handle. My original armrests have been cleaned up and can now be refitted with a few love taps and the same process in reverse. That's it. The remote central locking works, the passenger side trim and seat are back in, and the armrests being changed over brings an end to the interior refit. The rebuild may have only just begun, but I'm already stoked for what's to come. What a day. just to recap what I've been up to today, I stripped the whole interior out, replaced the carpet with the one from the old car after I cleaned it up, replaced the rear seat, replaced both rear door cards, replaced the driver's side rear window and put a new Italiano Squadra sticker on it, replaced the armrest with ones from my old car so they're not all scratched up and these ones are really nice and clean, cleaned up the whole centre console arrangement, my dad redid the remote central locking, and of course not forgetting the awesome Subaru WRX seats, as well as getting all my kind of personal stuff back in here as well, all the kind of cloths and other random crap that I've kind of built up in my car over the time I've owned it. I've put it all back in pretty much the exact same places that they were in when they were in my old shell. It's so good. I'm really getting the proper vibe that this is actually my car. This is just, oh, it's so good. I'm loving it. I'm super happy with the progress I've made. It's worth noting at this point that any parts that you need for a Seicento, I've got. So if you want anything, get in touch, because everything that is standard that I've taken off today and anything that's standard from my old car is for sale. I've got no need for any of it, and I won't charge you stupid prices or even eBay prices, because frankly we just haven't got the room to store it, so we just want it out of the way. So if you need any Seicento parts that are standard, obviously, get in touch. It's all for sale and I'll do you a good deal just for being so loyal to the series. Call it my thanks giving back to you as my awesome viewers. If you enjoyed this video, and if like me you are so damn psyched for the Super Seicento to be coming back, then make sure to give this video a big old thumbs up and also subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you are notified when a new Miller Corner video is released. But for now, thanks very much for watching everybody, and have a brilliant rest of your day. See you soon and have a good one.